Okay, so the scene that we're going to treat with Sapphire Edge film damage is this Baja Jeep race scene. So the first thing we do is we'll just take a look at what that scene looks like. So you can see he's racing down, pretty cool, and then goes up this wall. Alrighty? So we're going to jazz that up slightly. So let's go in and we're going to find our effects, and under video filters, let's look for Sapphire Edge filters. And under Sapphire Edge filters, we're going to look for Sapphire Edge film damage. We can just drag that onto the clip. Okay, so you can see that film damage has been added. And if we double click on the layer and select filters, we can actually see Sapphire Edge film damage. Now right now we've loaded the default, which in itself is pretty cool. And you can see we have some sliders and some parameters that we can change. We can change, let me get to a frame here that we can see a little bit better. We can change the grain amount, so more or less grain. We can change the stain density, so you can see that the stains are added. We take the grain down a little bit so you can see those a little bit better. Maybe go to another scene where you can really see what the stains are. We can change the dust density, so we can have more dust or less. We can add more hairs to the scene or less hairs. Okay, more scratches. We can also change the shake amount. Right now, this really isn't shaking. So if I go in and change the shake amount, you can see how the film starts flipping. Okay, so it starts shaking. We have a vignette darkness, so you can increase that. We have a flicker, and this will turn, depending on what you do with the flicker, will actually turn the video on and off, or the view of the video on and off. Okay. We have a defocus. I'm going to lower the flicker. Flicker also gives a nice little glow to it. So you can see that it, every once in a while, the frame defocuses. We have a randomizer, so if you're not very happy with exactly what it looks like, well, you can find a different place by changing the randomness of that. You can also go to a help menu if you need to, answer some questions for you. This will take you to the Sapphire Edge website. And you have a mix. So if you want, you can take the mix down, so this is just basically placed on top and mixed into the video, which also produces a pretty cool effect. So in itself, the Sapphire film damage is pretty impressive, but one of the really cool things about it is that it has a whole lot of presets that you can put on. Currently, I believe there are 60 and more being added every month. So let's go in and check out some of the presets. So I'm going to reset what I have by clicking on this little X and then go to load preset. So you can see there are several presets that we can choose from. I'll click on some of these. Make this a little bit bigger so you can get a better view. So a hint of class, autumn quiver, dogged afternoons, green toothpicks, hairy havoc. And some of these are more abstract and can be used as backgrounds, like fault line and chroma cavalcade. Okay? Now, if you notice some of these are black, that's because we're on a frame where the flicker has, of course, turned the image off. When you choose these, though, there will be something. Okay? Fruit smoothie. So some really cool presets. Quiver Quest. Which one is this? Possessed Projector. Jackpot. Now, not only do we have the presets to choose from here, but we can also kind of fine-tune the search by going through the tags. So if we open these up, you can see we have characteristics, which ones are blurry, which ones are bright, which ones are fast, which ones are shaky. Okay. You'll see we also have colors. So if we were looking for things that might be brown or purple, we can find those. We have genres. So if we wanted to go into horror, well, Banner and Hide is a great one for horror. Holidays, industries, locations, moods, time, and even weather. And if we want to go and see everything all at once again, we can just click on all presets. And if you're ever confused about where you started, there is even a default preset that will get you back to normal. We're going to actually use Jackpot. Right? So let's load that. And I've set my computer to render every minute, so let's give it a second here while it processes. You also notice something pretty cool. When we select the preset name is put into the actual parameter, so we know what we're using here. So you can see we're using the Jackpot preset. Okay. And I'll play this so we can see what's happening. So you can see not only was there a color treatment, but there's a lot more shake, there's a lot more stains and glows involved in this image. Well, let's say we like this, but we want to calm it down a little bit from the shake. So we can also add keyframes. So in here, we'll say from here, when this lands, everything before this has no shake. So we're going to find our shake parameter, set a keyframe, and go towards the beginning a little bit and set that amount to 0. So we have some flicker and then some shake when it lands. Now, when the back wheel touches, we'll bring the shake amount down again to 0. So we have some shake. Nothing happening yet. When it hits the actual wall, we're going to set a keyframe for shake here. And when it gets to the top of the wall, we'll set the shake amount a little bit higher, maybe to let's type something in. Let's say 0.8. And then when it actually gets to the top of the wall, we'll set that to 0 again. Okay. Now we can also take maybe a little bit of the flicker out as well. So on the flicker right now it's set to 1. We'll set that to 0.5. So we don't have as much flicker. And maybe the grain just a hair more. Go to, ooh, that's too much. Let's go to 0.35. Still a little bit too much for me. 0.25. There we go. So it's a little bit more grainy. I'm okay with the scratches. I'm okay with the stains, the color, but I am going to go in and do a little bit of a mix. So in the beginning, I'm going to set my mix down. Make sure I grab that to about 60. Set a keyframe. when this lands, bring my mix back to 100. So I'm getting all of the color. And right here, when it's just the wheel, I'm going to take the mix down again. 64. And when it actually reacts with the wall, I'm going to set that back to 100%. Okay. All right, let's process that and see what we get. Okay, the render is done. We'll press play. And we get this really cool urban type grungy look connected to our Baja footage. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you come back to see more tutorials from FX Central. That's through Sapphire Edge, and I will look forward to seeing you. Thanks.